everybody. My name's Lorrie Denning and I'm a yoga instructor and I teach yoga therapeutic classes. So today we're going to start by just finding a nice seated position. So as you see, I'm sitting on this little lift. It's called a zafu. And of course, if you don't have one of those, you can make something out of a pillow, or you can use a folded blanket, something that you're going to sit on so that your pelvis is rolled forward just a little bit. So notice the difference. My lower back is not rounding. It's got that little bit of a neutral arch in it that we want. And by elevating the pelvis a little bit, that reestablishes that lower back, that lumbar curve. So it's safer for you to be sitting up on a little bit of a support. So I'm on this blanket, feels great to me. Don't even need my zafu, so we'll get rid of it for now. But anyway, so I want you to sit in a comfortable position. If this doesn't work for you, by all means grab a chair, a folding chair, or a dining room chair that doesn't have arms, preferably. If it has arms, that's okay too. But just something where you can sit and be comfortable. We can't relax if something's pinching, if something's pulling too much. So we want to find that comfortable position. Now, if you're sitting like I am, and you feel like your knees are way up high, you're feeling excess pull on the hips, get a block or a pillow, whatever you have handy, a rolled up blanket, and just put it under those thighs for added support. You're still getting an opening in your hips, but it's supported so your joints, which are tight right now probably or most likely, are not being pulled upon. They're being supported, but still gravity is helping us to open our hips. So I want you to sit up nice and tall. I want you to bring your hands to your knees. And I want you to first just rock around, whether you're in a chair, on the floor, wherever you are, rock around. And you're going to feel two little bones right under your pelvis. Those are called your sit bones. And I want you to sit on them. So notice if you're on the front of them or on the back of them, come right into that Goldilocks position, right on the middle. The next thing I want you to do is think about your pelvic floor. So find those sits bones and imagine that there's a little magnet right in the middle and it's drawing those sit bones gently towards one another. Feel that. And then imagine your pubic bone, which is about 4 or 5 inches below your navel, and then your tailbone in the back drawing towards one another. So it's side to side engagement and then front to back of the pelvic floor. And then right in the middle, I want you to lift it up a little bit. Now the next step is draw your navel in and up, and then your frontal hip points draw together a little bit. Now I want you to think about right between your shoulder blades. Women, your bra strap line. Men, we call it your bro line. So right between those shoulder blades. So what our everyday posture is mainly is this slumping, this rounding of the back, which makes this part of our bodies really weak and long, whereas the shortness comes in the front of the body. So what I want you to do now, once you get your pelvic floor lifted and your transverse abdominis contracted, that lower part of the core, I want you to think about gently squeezing the shoulder blades together. Not excessively so that the ribs flare, but just enough to feel that support in the back. One of my teachers calls that your mid-back core, and I like that. So anyway, let's find that again. Find your sit bones, lift your pelvic floor, pubic to tailbone lift, side to side lift. Zip up your zipper, that's your core engaging, your frontal hip points move towards one another like a magnet drawing them. Put your hands on your knees, gently pull back without moving anything, and feel the shoulder blades draw towards one another, about 30-40%, not 100, just enough to feel the engagement. Then I want you to tuck your chin just a little bit. So it's not a big tuck, but it's enough so that you feel right under your ears there's an engagement. And then a lengthen through the crown of your head. Now flip your palms face up. And I want you to close your eyes. And then I want you to start to think about breathing into your navel. So as you inhale, breathe in without losing all that core support. So maybe the breath is higher up into the lower ribs. See what works for you, but keep that core supported. So inhale, maybe thinking about breathing into the abdomen and the lower ribs, widening them. And then as you exhale, reconnect with that pelvic floor. A little lift, a little zipper, a little drawing your ASIS towards one another, a little back core squeeze. So the inhale, you're expanding through the rib cage. And the exhale, you're just reestablishing that core, that little lift of the pelvic floor, the zipper, everything's on. And that little chin tuck too. Chin tuck with a crown lengthening. So if you do that a few more times, breathe into the ribs, and then a little bit of that core re-engagement. And one more time, and a little bit of that core. Now flip your palms face up. This is a version of Nadi Shodhana, the alternate nostril breathing. So a lot of times we'll have you close one nostril with a thumb and then switch with a ring finger and back and forth as we do specific breathing exercises. But I'm going to teach you another way. This way it's super cool, and we're going to feel the energies transfer from one palm to the other. So what this requires is concentration and focus. So sit up nice and tall, reestablish that nice good alignment. Close your eyes and bring all your awareness to the right palm. And what I want you to think about is the breath from the right palm. You're going to inhale from the right palm up to the forehead, right between your eyes. We call that your third eye center. So it's inhaling from right palm to the third eye center, and then exhaling from the third eye center to the left palm. And then reverse it, inhaling from the left palm to the third eye center, and then exhaling third eye center to the right palm. Do that one more time for practice. And then left to the third eye center, and then third eye center to the right. All right, now let's start by feeling the energy. So as you inhale, I want you to feel energy from the right palm up to the third eye center. And then exhale from the third eye down to the left palm. Notice what you feel. Then inhale left palm up to the third eye. And then exhale third eye to the right palm. And inhaling right palm to third eye. How's that core support? And then exhaling third eye to the left palm. Inhaling left palm to third eye. And exhaling third eye to right palm. Inhaling right to third eye. Exhaling third eye to left. And now inhaling left to third eye. And exhaling third eye to right palm. One more time. Inhaling right palm to third eye. And then exhaling third eye to left palm. And inhaling left palm to third eye. And then exhaling third eye to right palm. And then blink open your eyes a few times and just roll your wrists. Bring your hands to the outside of your knees and bring your legs out of that position and just bend and straighten your knees a few times. So what that was it's an awareness exercise, it's a focus exercise, and sometimes we can feel energies passing from one palm to the other. It's kind of cool. So if you didn't feel that, don't worry about it. As you practice it more, it should come. So anyway, that was just good for centering and grounding ourselves. So we're going to get started right now for a little practice. I'm going to move my blanket out of the way. I always use blocks in my practice, so if you have blocks, time to get them out. One is good, two is better. So anyway, let's put these aside. If you have a strap or a belt, robe, bathrobe tie, something that we can use, because we're going to do some stretching, that would be helpful too. Hi Chester, this is Chester. She's come in to say hi to everybody. Say hi. Yep. Okay, go on now. Get away. All right, let's start class by laying on our back. So I also have a bolster here, which I'll probably use in class. So if you don't have a bolster, you can get a couple pillows off your couch. These are just throw pillows on my couch. I could put one on top of the other. So anyway, when we come to that portion of class, I'll revisit that. So for right now, though, I'm going to bring these out of the way. We're going to use those for a supported bridge pose to open up our psoas and the front of our hips. Okay, let's start class. So laying back. Onto your backs. Take a block with you, please. Now, what I want you to first realize is when you lay on your back, where is your chin in relation to your forehead? Is the chin way up here, creating a big, big arch in the neck? If that's you, I want you to get a pillow or a little bit of a blanket to put under your head. Now we're trying to get our head in a good alignment, so we don't want too much under our head. We're trying to get away from this forward head posture. So we want just enough support under the head, whereas your forehead and your chin are level. So I want you to come onto your back, and I just want you to close your eyes and take inventory and see how you're feeling like this. Now that we don't have that Nadi Shodhana going on, I want you to put your hands on your lower belly. And as you inhale, breathe into the low belly. And as you exhale, soften. And breathing in. And exhaling, softening. So when you breathe in, I want you to breathe in front to back and side to side. So inhaling, belly and low back, and then side to side, ribs, and then the exhale, soften. A couple more, just connected with our breath. And one more. Now another piece of the puzzle when we're lying in this constructive rest position is your feet. Are your feet turned out? Are your knees splayed out? This can cause sciatica pain, not sciatica, I can't think of the word, SI joint pain, that's it, sacroiliac joint pain, which is related to sciatica. So anyway, what I want you to think about doing is bringing your feet so that they're parallel to one another, and that one foot is not forward from the other, so you've got this good alignment, and that your knees are not splaying out. So a block, a pillow, something between the knees is helpful for keeping this alignment. So now, we'll have a block here for now. I want you to bring your hands to your frontal hip points. And as you inhale, breathe into the belly and let the pelvis rock forward. Create a big arch in your lower back. Then as you exhale, pull the tummy in, press your lower back flat and rock the pelvis back. So the inhale, pelvis rocks forward, you're creating a big arch in the lower back. And then the exhale, you're pulling the tummy in and pressing lower back flat. All the time you're gently squeezing this block. And inhale, rolling the pelvis forward. And exhale, pulling tummy in and pressing the back flat. Now coming into the middle ground, right in the middle of the two. You should be able to put about half a hand under your low back. If you can put the whole hand, you're too arched. So pull your tummy in a little bit more until you feel like, okay, I can fit right about mid-hand under there. That's called your neutral spine, your neutral pelvis. And we want to work from there. So just take a couple breaths with that. So as you inhale, breathe in.
And the exhale, reconnect with that core a little bit, lift the pelvic floor, draw your navel in and up, draw your frontal hip points towards one another. And then inhale, let that go a little bit. And then exhale, re-engage. And inhale, don't let the core go completely. Try to breathe up higher in the ribs. And 2 more breaths. Press your big toe mounds down. Gently squeeze the block. Draw the outer ankles in. And then squeezing the block, feel the inner thighs contract. Then lift that pelvic floor up. Remember, it's side to side, front to back, and then a lift. So now gently lift your shoulders a little and squeeze your shoulder blades. And then tuck your chin. So right now, from the big toe up through the middle of the body to the chin, we are engaging our core, our deep front core line. And just see how that feels. Feel the big toe pressing down, feel the outer ankles drawing in, squeezing the block, lifting pelvic floor, gentle squeeze between the shoulder blades, and a chin tuck. And as you inhale, feel like your spine is lengthening up. And as you exhale, reconnect with that core. And 2 more, just getting a feel for what does it feel like? What do I have to do with my core to keep this neutral pelvis? Good job, guys. All right, let's take the block out and let's bring our knees towards our chest. I'm not a fan of holding the shins because when we pull in there, we're compressing our knees a little bit. So I'm a fan of holding under the thigh. So take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, draw your knees in, feel the back round now, the lower back is flat, and inhale, let the knees go. Exhale, draw them in, bending the elbows. Inhale, straightening the knees until the arms are straight. And a few more times. This is nice for just warming up your lower back. If you wake up with a stiff back, this is great. And then bring the hands to the knees. And as you inhale, let's big circles. Inhale, opening the knees. And then exhale, closing. And now, before we do it again, find your neutral pelvis. So you're not flat in the low back, you're not overly arched, you're right in the middle. Then you're going to zip up your core, draw your navel in and up, and your frontal hip points towards one another to hold that neutral pelvis. Now we'll start. So keeping neutral pelvis, inhale, opening the knees, and then exhale, circling. Bringing them in. Inhale away, and then exhale, draw them in. Keep that, don't let that back flatten now. Keep neutral pelvis, and just circle your hips around. And go the other way if that's comfortable for you. So when we're working with asana, which are the postures, we don't want to push into pain. So if this is too much for your hips, just do little bitty circles. You want to find that range of motion that you're moving, but there's no pain. All right, let's bring one foot down and then the other foot down. So now we're going to start with our windshield wipers. So I want you to widen your feet so that they're wide, nice wide, unless that bothers your low back. If it bothers your low back, keep your feet together or just separate, a little bit separated. But I'm going to start with my knees wide. My arms are going to be out to an airplane position. So I'm going to find my neutral pelvis and lock that in. Now I'm going to inhale and let both knees go into the right. I'm going to look over my left shoulder. Only go as far as your hips allow. And then inhale, come back to center, head to center. Exhale, knees go to the left, looking to the right, keeping core engaged. And inhale to center, head to center. And keep going, just like a windshield wiper. Your knees are going to the right, now your head is looking left. And inhaling, everything comes to center. And then exhaling, knees going to the left, and the gaze is now over the right shoulder. And then inhaling to center. Do that a few more times. Keep the core engaged so that now when you go over, where do you feel the pull? Stay going to the right and just tell me where you're feeling the pull. I'm feeling it from my underarm, actually a little bit from my elbow on the left arm all the way down the lateral chain of my body down to the left knee. That whole side of the body, I'm feeling it. Now, what I'd like you to try is bringing your left fingers down to the floor and pushing through with the heel of your hand. So we're going to turn our gaze to the right. We're going to inhale and push that right palm away. Keep the core engaged. And then exhale, reestablish that core. Inhaling, pressing that heel of the left hand away. And exhaling, reestablishing that core. And we'll stay here a couple more breaths. So where are you feeling this? If you're tight in the shoulders, you're probably feeling it under your arm. And that's where we want it to be felt. I can't tell you exactly where you're going to feel it. You're going to feel it where you're tight. We're all tight in different places. So one more breath here. And then carefully drop your left arm, bring it down. And then inhale, bring your knees back up. Now we're going to go to the other side. So inhale and center. And then exhale, let's bring our knees to the left. And we're going to stay there. We've already warmed up. So now you're going to take your right hand and bring it up to like a Y, like you're in a Y formation. Maybe the fingers touch, maybe they don't, that's okay. So I want you to keep your core engaged and reach through the heel of the right hand. So you're not in an airplane arm, you're more in a Y. So inhale, reach, keep the core engaged. And then exhale, drawing the navel in and up. And reaching, so my gaze is to the left now. My right arm is reaching through the heel of the hand. And exhale, re-engage the core. Where are you feeling this? You're probably feeling it anywhere between the right knee or the right quad down by the knee, up through the side of the body, into the arm, and into finally the wrist of the right hand. Couple more breaths. So the inhale, push that butt of that right hand, the heel away. And exhale, reconnect with the core. And one more. And then carefully bring that right arm down. As you inhale, keep the core engaged, bring the knees back up. And then one more time, drawing your knees into your chest a few times. Inhale, knees fall away. And exhale, bending the elbows, bringing them in. So I'm okay with hands on the knees like this because we're moving. We're not holding and pulling. We're just having our hands resting on our knees and guiding them in and out. Okay. We're going to do some standing poses today. So I want to work on warming up our shoulders a little bit. So let's come on to our right side, or actually left side. We're going to be on our left side. Now, this is not okay. Look at how my neck is all crimped up on the bottom side. So when you're laying on your side, you want to put something under your head so that you have a nice straight line from the crown of the head through the neck. Your nice straight line. Now you're going to take your block again and you're going to place it between your thighs. I'm not a fan of on the knee joint. I'd like better on a little bit above the knee. If the knee's on it, it's okay, but you're not going to be squeezing it, so it's all right now. Bring your arms out to the side, palm on top of palm. Now notice, my left arm is on the bottom, and I want to line it up properly. Good alignment is everything. So I'm looking at the top of my finger, the thumb joint, and I'm lining that up with the top of my shoulder. So this isn't what I want, nor is this what I want. I want a nice straight line. Now I want you to find your core, draw your navel in and up, maybe even that lift of the pelvic floor, and we're going to hold that there. The block is between our knees or our thighs so that our knees don't splay back. We're going to do the butterfly. So I want your knees to stay not moving. Palm on top of palm. Spread your fingers wide. Now keeping the core engaged, as you inhale, let's bring the right arm up so that the fingers point straight up. You can watch the hand. And then as you exhale, bring the arm towards the floor until you feel resistance. Then inhale, bring the arm so that the fingers are pointing straight up. And then exhale back to the start. So inhale, the arm comes up. The exhale, we twist our rib cage. Twist your rib cage towards the ceiling. And then inhale, bring the palm back up. Fingers are up. And then exhale down. Your core is engaged. And again, inhale up, exhale, feel the heart rotating, spiraling up towards the ceiling. and then inhale, palm up, and exhale down. A couple more times. Inhale up, exhale, twist the rib cage, twist it, spiral it, and then inhale up, and then exhale down. Now one more time. Inhale, arm comes up. Exhale, twist, 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 twist the rib cage. And inhale up, and exhale down. Now inhale, bring your hand to your shoulder, and then inhale, circle, and exhale, bring it through. Inhale, circle, and exhale, bring it through. Just a couple more times. Inhale, circling back, and exhale, bringing it through. And notice what you're feeling. No pain, so if it hurts, do a big circle, just do a little circle. The ball and socket joints are in your hip and your shoulder, so when we circle these joints, it starts to imbibe them with fluids, brings fluids into the joint and lubricate, so that's a good thing. And go the other way a couple times. Notice which direction feels tighter to you. And just take a notice of that. And you find a spot that's kind of tight, just stay there and move it around. Just stay in that range of motion that's tight and do little bitty circles, maybe a figure 8, something that feels like, wow, I really feel that I need to do this here. It feels like it's stuck, it's stiff. That's just your fascia, it's tight right there. Excuse me, bring your palm to your palm. Take your block out. Take the top hand, place it right in front of your shoulder. Take an inhale. Keeping the core engaged, exhale, press yourself up. Now we're going to go to the other side and do the whole thing over again. So we're just warming up here, but we're bringing a lot of movement into our shoulders, which is super important. So let's go now laying on the right. And we're going to take our block and we're going to put it into our knees, just like the other side. Something supporting your head. Your core is engaged. So remember, you're zipping up your zipper, pubic bone towards the navel, your ASIS frontal hip points gently draw together, and that pelvic floor lifts just a little bit. Keep your core engaged. Palm on top of palm with fingers spread wide, thumb out from the shoulder. Inhale, let's bring your left arm straight up, and then as you exhale, think about your rib cages spiraling up. Only let the arm go as far as comfortable for you. And then inhale back up to center. And then exhale, let's bring our palm to the start. A few more. Inhale, opening. Exhale, butterfly, spiraling the rib cage towards the ceiling. And then inhale up and exhale down. How's your core doing? Don't let that go. Inhale, opening. And exhale, twisting. Inhale, opening, and exhale, closing. Let's do 2 more. Inhale, opening, exhale, twisting, twisting, twisting. Inhale, opening, and exhale, folding. And last time, inhale, palm comes up. Exhale, the rib cage spirals open. And inhale, bring your arm up, and exhale, fold. Now just notice when we started doing the butterfly, how far was your arm from the floor? Could it touch it? Great, that's great. If it didn't, just remember how far it was. And when we finished, after 5 or 6 repetitions of that, was your arm closer to the floor. So that opened our chest big time. So the first posture we did was a windshield wipers. That just brought movement into the lower body. This isolated the upper body and rib cage. So now one more for the shoulders to get us going. This is all about your core. So what I want you to do is make sure you can raise your arms up over your head, and you're going to place the block between your thighs. Now remember those feet. They shouldn't be pointing out like this. That causes sacroiliac. It can cause pulling on your low back. So we want to have our feet nice and parallel. Now if this is an issue for you, you can put a block down there and keep the big toes on it. You can have a block on your feet and a block in between your thighs if you need that. But right now, I'm just going to have the block in between my thighs, and I'm going to lay my head down. Nothing under my head right now. So let's connect with our core in this constructive rest position. So I want you to press down both big toe mounds, draw the outer ankles in, and then feel you're squeezing this block. You're feeling energy draw up. Now connect with your pelvic floor, lift it, draw your navel in and up a little bit, frontal hip points towards one another, squeeze the shoulder blades just a little bit, not to make your ribs flare, but just to feel that contraction in the back, and then tuck your chin. Bring your palms down by your side. I want you to keep your core engaged. Now, as you inhale, raise both arms up over your head until you feel a resistance. Don't let the ribs flare. Don't let the lower back move. And then inhale back up, and then exhale, bring it down. Now we'll do that again. Inhaling all the way up until you feel resistance or you feel your lower back lifting away from the floor. We don't want that. And then exhale, bring them down. So find that neutral pelvis, lock it in with your core and keep it there. Inhale up. You're only going as far as your ribs do not flare up. And exhale down. Now bring your thumbs up and do the same motion. Inhale up. And exhale down. And now one more time. Inhale up and stop when you feel resistance. Inhale, I want you to reach to the ribs, reach your hands up like you're reaching for something. And then exhale, bring them all the way down. Inhale, arms go up. Exhale, stay. Inhale, reach, but feel it reaching from the rib cage. And then come all the way down with your arms. And one more time. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, stay. Inhale, reach to the ribs. And then exhale, bring your arms all the way down. Good job. All right, let's start to do a little bit more movement. I'm growing my hair out, so it's at that, you ladies will understand that length where kind of nothing works. I'm trying to keep it in this itty bitty ponytail and I'm having issues. So anyway, excuse me for a second. All right. Let's roll our wrists out and do the other way. Shake your hands good, shake them good. This brings circulation into your hands and into your wrists. And then close your eyes and feel the energy you just created in your hands. You should feel like a surge or a flow in there, pulsing, something like that. All right, let's come onto hands and knees. Let's bring something to pat our knees, to be kind to ourselves. And then just come onto all fours. Call this tabletop position. Now, bearing weight on our hands is very, very risky for our shoulders if they're not in good alignment. So I'm going to turn this way. So what I want you to do first is bring your hands, spread your fingers wide, bring your wrist just a little bit forward from the shoulders, and this is the big thing. Index finger pointing straight ahead, not in, not out, straight ahead. Then you're going to look at the eye of the elbow, that inner crease, and I want you to rotate it forward and notice what it does to the back of the shoulder. It brings it into external rotation, and that's safe for our shoulders when we bear weight. So we never want to do any kind of bearing weight with the index rolled in and the shoulders rolled forward. It's a risky thing for your shoulders. So index straight ahead, rolling the inner eye of the elbow, that crease forward. Okay. Now coming onto hands and knees, we're going to do a pose called Chakravakasana. Good for your low back, stretches out the whole back of your back. So find your neutral pelvis. So I'm not going to let my back arch. I'm not going to let it round too much. I'm going to find that Goldilocks right in the middle like we practiced on the floor. I'm going to lock it in with my core. So now we're going to inhale. I want you to lift your head, lift your chest, lift your tailbone up. Keep the core engaged a little bit. And now as you exhale, pull the tummy in. I want you to bend the elbows, bring the forearms to the floor, hips to heels, and then bring your forehead down.
Then as you inhale, come back up into the all fours, then lifting the chest, lifting the tail. The exhalation, pulling that tummy in, starting to come down onto your hips, but first we're on the forearms, and then the hips, and then finally the forehead that comes down. Now another option here is to place a block under the forehead when we do this. So keep going. Inhale, lift. Exhale, bending the elbows, coming down. Like I say, block under the forehead is nice. Inhale a couple more times, lifting. And then exhale, pressing down, coming onto the forearms, and then finally hips to heels, forehead down. One more time, lifting the chest, lifting the tail, arching the back. Exhale, pulling the tummy in, bending the elbows, coming down, and just bringing your head down for just a couple breaths. Now walk your arms out forward, press your hands into the mat, and reach forward as you pull your navel in and draw your tailbone back. So we're getting a big stretch under the arms, we're getting a big stretch in the whole back body. And just stay here for a couple breaths. And then come back up to all fours. We're going to come into plank pose. Now I use these little egg blocks. They're called 3-minute egg blocks. You can get them online. I use them under my wrists. I have a lot of arthritis in my body, and this seems to be very kind to my body. So some people, when they're bearing weight on their hands, their wrists are really kind of sore. So there's different ways that we can do variations of a posture to accommodate the wrist. I like this. This is also helpful for if you have that rounding of the upper back, to bring your hands, bring your body up a little bit. You can also use regular blocks under your hands, or you can use nothing at all, up to you. So let's practice some plank variations. Now if you have tender knees, you can place that blanket back under your knees. So what I want you to do is the same as we did on all fours. We're going to find that good shoulder alignment. Your knees are under your hips. The tops of the feet are on the floor right now. So first, spread the fingers, press down evenly through each knuckle, and then rotate that eye of the elbow, that crease, forward so that the shoulders feel like they're really locked on the back. Like you're feeling like the shoulder blades are on your back. Now push the floor away and feel like between your shoulder blades it's filled in. So it's not a dip, you're not sinking, you're pushing the floor away. That is really helpful for contracting your serratus anterior, one of the main muscles that we need to strengthen to avoid shoulder issues. So first, you can walk your hands just a tad forward from your shoulders. I want you to bend your knees. You can cross the ankles if that's helpful. I want you to push the floor away so you're feeling like your breastbone is lifting away from the floor. Pull your navel in and up, and then just come forward a little bit. Squeeze your tushy, push the floor away, and have a nice straight line. I want you to tuck your chin, and at the same time, feel like you're pushing the back of your head into a headrest. So you're feeling your neck strengthening. So we'll stay here and breathe a few breaths, deep breaths. The exhale, reconnect with the core. Keep pushing the floor away. Your breastbone is pushing away from the floor. And one more. And then take a break. You can come down to your child's pose if that feels comfortable. You can widen your knees if that feels better to you. So find what feels good to you. Keep your core in and up though. Engage your core, that protecting your back. And now let's come back up onto all fours. Now we're going to go into the full plank. So rotate the upper arms back, eye of the elbow forwards. You're pressing into all the knuckles of the hand, especially the index and the thumb webbing. Now find that neutral pelvis. So your back is not rounding, it is not completely arched. It's right in the middle. Now lift your tailbone a little bit, curl the toes under, take an inhale, and as you exhale, let's press up into plank pose. So looking straight down, tucking the chin, pushing the floor away, pressing through the feet into the heels to get a nice stretch in the calves. Navel's in and up, and we're breathing. Deep breath. Exhale, pull the tummy in. Now if this is too much for you, you go back and do the kneeling plank. That's fine. Not one is better than the other. The one that's best for you is the one that feels most comfortable in your body. Couple more breaths here. Nice work for the shoulders, good work for the core. Looking straight down, tucking the chin, reaching the head back as if pushing into a headrest. And one more breath. And then come down to your knees. And once again, hips to heels. And breathe. Now while we're here, we're going to warm up our side bodies. So palms down. Now as you inhale, I want you to walk your hands to the right. Walking them to the right until you feel a stretch on the left arm, the left side of the body, and then lean off onto the left hip a little bit. Now reach, reach, reach. Draw the left hip back. Feel the left side of the body stretching. Couple more breaths. We're not going to be here long, just warming it up. And then inhale, walking hands back to center. Exhale, arcing to the left. And now leaning onto that right hip, leaning off, keeping the core engaged, and now really stretching the right side of your body. Especially under the arm. Those of you that have tight shoulders, you're going to feel this under your arm, down through into the tricep, into the elbow, or wherever you're tight, you're going to feel this. And now let's come back to center. Let's put our left foot forward, curling the toe under, and pressing yourself up to standing. Now I'm going to readjust my tripod, and hopefully it will be fine. Because we're going to come to standing now. Okie dokie. Let me move all this stuff out of the way. I'm going to work on our shoulders a little bit. And our core. Alright guys. So coming on to the mat. Let's take a block with us, or a pillow, whatever you have. Place it between your thighs. And now look at your feet. They should be about the same width as the block. The toes should be in alignment. One's not forward from the other. Now what I want you to do is lift your toes, spread them wide, then plant them back down. Big toe mound down, outer ankles draw in, squeeze the block. Lift up through the pelvic floor. Bring your shoulders up, back, and down. And bring your hands on your frontal hip points. Rock forward so that the back arches, and then pull the tummy in and pull the tailbone down. So you're doing this cat and cow right now, feeling the excess of the arch and the excess of the tuck. Now find the middle ground, that's neutral pelvis. Then zip up your core, draw your frontal hip points towards one another. Shoulders back and down, a little squeeze between the shoulder blade. The chin is tucked and you're drawing the crown of the head up. This is Tadasana, mountain pose. So really feel grounded. You're not just standing here, you're working. Your feet are pushing into the mat. Your inner thighs are contracting into this block. You're lifting your core up, you're squeezing the mid-back, you're tucking the chin a little bit and feeling like there's a headrest here, and you're gently pressing into it. Mountain pose. Good job, guys. Now take your block out, if you were using one, and put it aside. And grab a sip of water. And now we're going to come into warrior one position. So I'm going to start on my mat in my Tadasana. Now notice, am I rocked forward too much? Am I on all the weight of the front of my foot, or am I weighted on the heel? Most people favor the forward, which puts a lot of strain on your knees. Now another piece of the puzzle, are your knees locked back? If they are, let's change that and softly bend them. and feel like more of the weight is in the heel so that we bring our posture upright. Now step forward with the right foot. The left heel, you're kicking it back just a little bit. Now I want you to widen the front foot until your hips are squared to the front. Bend the right knee, look down, make sure the center of the knees and the center of the foot. And the back leg, I want you to press through that pinky side of that foot, but keep the big toe down. Then bring your torso, your hips square. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to inhale and raise your arms up. Don't let the ribs flare. Raise them up. And then exhale, we're going to bring down to this W. We're going to squeeze our shoulder blades. I think I'll stand this way so you can see. So let's start over. So inhale, lifting the arms up. Don't let the ribs flare. And then exhale, W arms. Squeeze the shoulder blades. Bring the shoulder blades down your back. Then inhale, bring your palms face up. And then exhale, push up, push up, push up. And then reach, 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 reach. And then straighten the front leg. I'm going to do it again. So the inhale, you're bending the knee, lifting your arms up. The exhale, bending the elbows. Bring them your elbows to your side. Flipping the palms up. And then rotating, so you're pressing up, inhaling. And then exhaling, reaching down. Straightening the leg. And one more time. Bend the knee, lift the arms up. Exhale, bend the elbows. W arms. Palms are up, and then flip the heel of the hand forward. Inhale, raise. And then exhale, push forward, and then straighten the right knee. Step it up and shake it out. Roll your shoulders a little bit. Now we're going to do the left side. So find your Tadasana. Now what I really want to emphasize is when you're in the pose and you lift the arms, lift your arm up, both arms, without engaging the core. Do you feel how the ribs flare up and the lower back crunches, it compresses? So we don't want that. So the way to prevent that is by zipping up your core and the frontal hip points drawing together and being aware that these ribs stay locked in. That's your core that's keeping them down. So let's start over. Tadasana. Left foot forward, right heel kicks back just a little. Left leg wiggles to the left so that we can square our hips. Now the back foot, you're pressing through the pinky side and keeping the big toe bound down. The front knee, you're bending. Centered knee between the center of the foot, which is the second and third toe. Now, let's straighten the leg. As you inhale, bend into it, keep the core contained as you raise your arms up. And then exhale, lat pull down. Good. Inhale, palms up, bring them forward as you raise. And then exhale, reaching. This is all for your scapula and shoulders. Straighten the leg. Inhale, bending the knees, bringing the arms up, thumbs are up. Exhale, pull down. Flip the palms up. And then inhale, reach. And then exhale, straighten the knees and the arms come down. One more time. Inhale, thumbs are up, bending the knees, arms come up, ribs stay down. Exhale, come into this nice W, squeeze, palms up. Now inhale, lift, and exhale, forward, and the leg straightens. Step it up and shake it out. Just do whatever movement feels good to your shoulders. Swim strokes, both directions, mainly back, circles, whatever feels good to you. Let's do our warrior pose. We're going to do about 4 standing today. Let's do our warrior. So before we do our warrior, we're going to stretch out our inner thighs. So if you have 2 blocks, that'd be great. If you don't have blocks, I'll show you how to do it without blocks. But our main thing here is that we're not bending from our waist, which is rounding our back. we're gonna put our hands on our frontal hip crease, and we're gonna hinge from our hips, creating a nice straight back. That's what we want. So I want you to widen your feet, whatever's comfortable for you. Now look at your feet. They should not toes out. They should be straight ahead. Now find big toe mount, outer ankle draws in, soften the knees. Find a good alignment. Put your hands on your hip crease. Take an inhale, keeping the core engaged, just hinging from the hip crease and coming down to the blocks. Now what I want you to think about when you get onto the blocks is lifting your tailbone up. So what I want you to do next is contract your core, lift everything up, lift the tailbone up, squeeze the shoulder blades together. And I want you to feel the stretch in your inner thigh. We'll stay here and breathe, keep your core contained. I want you to think about tucking your chin and pushing your head up into an imaginary backrest. Now take an inhalation. As you exhale, bend the right knee and lunge to the right, feeling the stretch come into the left inner thigh. Inhale to center, core is contained. Exhale, bending the left, coming into a lunge, stretching the right inner thigh. And then inhale to center. Keep the knees soft. We don't want to lock them out. And then go side to side. The inhale is to center. The exhale is your lunge. And one more time on each side. In a dynamic way, moving. Lifting tailbone up. And now staying to the right for a couple breaths. Big toe mound pressing down. Outer ankles drawing in. Core engaged. Looking down, but yet at the same time tucking the chin and pressing your head into imaginary back rest. Feel the left inner thigh stretching. We'll stay here one more breath. And then inhale, come back to center. And now exhale, let's go to the other way, left. You're going to feel this on the right inner thigh. Right big toe mound down, outer ankle draws in. The knee is soft. Don't lock your knee back. So both knees are a little bit soft, especially the left one's bent. Keep your navel in and up. Keep a little lift on the tailbone. And then come back to center, heel toe your feet towards one another. And then bring your hands to just above your knees, squeeze your shoulder blades, and come back up with a nice straight back. So we're trying to correct posture here, correcting that rounding of the upper back, the kyphosis, that our society is plagued with now with all the devices that we use. Not just devices, poor posture sitting, things that we've been doing for a long time catch up with us. We're trying to reverse all that. Okay, join me on the mat. Let's do our warrior. We'll do warrior 2. So we did that opening of the inner thighs with Prasarita Padunasana just to open up our groin area. Now we're going to do our warrior 2. Spread your legs wide. Contract your core. Contract the mid-back core. Take your left foot, pivot on the heel so that the toes are pointing straight ahead. Now big toe mound down, outer ankle draw in. Bend the left knee. Now the right foot, you're just kicking the heel back a little. You're pressing through the pinky side of the foot, which is going to keep this knee, this back knee from rolling down. You want to press through it so the knee's straight ahead. Keep the big toe down. Now, inhale, bring your arms up, palms come up, and then exhale, straighten the leg, arms down. So inhale, bending the knee, arms come up, look at the knee. It should be going right over the center of the foot, and then coming out of it. Inhaling into it, and exhaling out of it. Now inhaling into it and staying. Palms are down now, looking over the left hand. So feel like you're really pushing down with your big toe mounds and you're drawing your outer ankles in. And you're breathing. Couple more breaths here. Feel the inner thighs really stretching. Now take your right forearm, bend the elbow, bring it down to your thigh. Bend the right elbow, bring your hand to the shoulder. Now think about your back is on a wall so you're not rolling forward. Now as you inhale, straighten the right arm, keep your gaze forward. As you exhale, bend the elbow and look down. Inhale, gaze forward, arm up. Exhale, bend the elbow, now looking up to the right. Inhale, gaze forward, arm up. Exhale, elbow back, looking down to the left. And inhale, arm forward and up. And then exhale, looking to the left. Now, bring your arms back up to your warrior. And then straighten your leg, parallel your feet. Step it up. And just take a minute and feel what you feel. Maybe you got really warm. I did. I got really warm with that. But that's super healthy for our shoulders. Now we got to do the other side. So join me in a wide stance. Now we're going to pivot the right heel so that the foot is pointing straight ahead. The back foot, you're kicking the heel back. The back foot, super important. Press the big toe mound down and then the whole pinky side of the edge of the foot. It's going to bring that knee safe. Bend the right knee. Look at the foot. It should be centered over the knee, over the center of the foot. Now straighten the right leg. We're going to bring our arms up. So as we inhale, we're bending right knee, bringing palms up, coming into a lunge. And then exhale, dropping the arms, straightening the leg. Inhaling up. And exhaling down. And inhaling up and down. Last time we hold. So remember, the back foot, you're pressing in that pinky edge. The front, you're pushing into the big toe, drawing the outer ankle in. And flip the palms down, now looking over the right fingers, the right middle finger. Feel your shoulder blades draw together, yet your hands are reaching each in opposite directions. Now one more breath. Now bend the right elbow, bend over, forearm to the knee. Right hand, the elbow bends, you're here. Now we don't want to roll forward, so think about your back being on a wall. Now as you inhale, straighten the left arm, gaze is center. Exhale, bend the left elbow and look down to the right. Inhale, head center, arm overhead. Exhale, bending, and now looking up to the left. Inhale, forward. Exhale, look down. Inhale, arm overhead, gaze center. Exhale, elbow down, now look up. We're working left side of the neck. And one more time, inhale. Exhale, look down. Let's stretch the left side of the neck. Inhale forward, and then look up. We're contracting it. Good job. And then come back up to warrior two. Parallel your leg, straighten your leg, parallel your feet, and walk it out. Shake your legs. Roll your shoulders a couple times. Good job. Let's do one more pose. We're going to do tree pose. So I invite you to get something to balance with. You can take the head off of your broom. This is a walking stick. You can hold on to something, a wall or a ledge, something. So I'd rather have you hold on. Research shows that you're going to create more balance, even if you're holding on to something, but that you can sustain the posture. It's not going to do you any good if you're flailing all around or you can't. How are we going to create strength with this? So we need to either hold on to something to create strength. Totally great, fine with that. So I'm using my walking stick. First, I'm going to find Tadasana. Big toe mounds down, outer ankles draw in. I'm imagining I'm squeezing a block. I'm lifting my pelvic floor. Gentle squeeze to the back, shoulder blade area. Chin is tucked. Now, gently bring your weight to your right foot. Feel the right leg really contract. Push into the right heel. Engage your core. And then bring this leg up and place it just on your calf. Now what I want you to feel is engagement in this left glute area. Now do you need the stick to hold on to? If you do, by all means, do it. I'm going to keep mine there. And now I'm just going to raise up my left arm all the way up. So really think about the right hip is squeezing inward. The left foot is pressing onto the calf, so we're creating strength there. Maybe try to lift up. Don't hold on to anything. See what that does for you. If you need the support, use it. And then come down. Roll your shoulder. Couple more. And now we'll go to the other side. So find your Tadasana. Shift to the left. Big toe mound, outer ankle draws in. Now really feel the weight on the left heel. Soften the left knee. Now bring your right leg up, rotating at the hip. Press the right foot gently into the right calf as the left hip draws towards center. Find your balance, and then maybe you lift your right arm up. Can you let go of whatever you're balancing with? Can you keep your core contained? If you need it, use it. Just a light support, but really feel the work in the left hip right now as it squeezes towards center. 2 more breaths. And then come down and roll that shoulder back. Okay guys, great job. Let's come to the mat and do a little stretching of our hips. So come down to your mat and take a break while I get set up. See how you're feeling right now. Lying on your back, knees are bent. Have your strap handy. We're going to use a strap. Now this one here, remember we talked about using a bolster or pillows? So I'm going to use my bolster, but I invite you to use a couple pillows or one pillow stacked, whatever you have handy. And we're going to put our, we're going to come into bridge. So have your, whatever you're using under your pelvis, handy. Nothing under the head for this one. Lift your hips up and press this right under your lower. You have your whole buttock area on this. My lower back's on this and my buttocks are on this. Now I want you to draw your knees in and then extend your legs up. Be supported here, so readjust. As you inhale, open the legs wide, and the exhale, draw your legs together. Inhale, open, stretch those groins out again, and then exhale, draw them together. If you do that a few times. Still working on the inner thighs. Your inner thighs are warmed up right now. They're going to stretch better. And just a couple more. And last one. Let's leave them open for a little bit. You can bring your hands just on the outer seam of your pant to support. So if you feel like, wow, it's really pulling on my inner thighs, use your hands there to just support. And just breathe. While we're here, let's point and flex our feet a few times. Let's circle our ankles a few times, both directions. Breathing. Nice and slow breath. The exhale, can you reconnect a little bit with that core? And now using your arms, gently close your legs. Bend one knee at a time, place one foot down at a time. Now, we're going to start by extending our right leg straight. Now, once we're here, bring your hands to your frontal hip points. I want you to think about your zipper now. Pull your navel in and up,
And I want you to feel a stretch on the front of the right hip. You can even take your hand on that right frontal hip point and just lift it a little bit. Not a lot. You don't want to feel pinching or anything like that. You want to feel a little bit of a stretch. So if you don't feel anything right now with what props you're on, you want to make your prop a little higher. So stay here and breathe. This is a nice gentle release for your psoas. I want you to breathe right into the lower belly. And as you exhale, pull your navel in and zip it up. Notice how that really, really feels like it's stretching that right frontal hip, the psoas, more by pulling navel in and up. Each exhale, pull navel in and up. Now, one other awareness. Think about your right heel now, the one that's on the floor. Is your foot sickling to the right, so are you on the outer part of that heel? Are you on the inner part? Let's come to the center of the heel. We want to stretch from a neutral leg. We'll stay here a couple more breaths. And now slide that right heel up to the knees back. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, now let's slide the left leg straight. Notice where you are in the heel. Your foot should not be turning out. Should be toes straight up, center of heel. Hands to the frontal hip points. Inhale. As you exhale, lift your tummy in and up and maybe pull the hip points back to increase the stretch. If it doesn't feel good, don't do it. So just listen to the body. Let's stay here about 4 more breaths. Two more breaths, nice slow breathing. Take an inhale. And then the next exhale, slide this left heel to the knees bent. Now we're going to kick it up another notch. We're going to go back to now straightening. Let's see, we're going to straighten the right, center of heel, and then bring your left thigh in. Hold under the thigh, take an inhale, and as you exhale, drawing the left thigh in. Now if this doesn't feel good to that right hip, if it's too much, just go back to where we were at, or don't pull it in, just bring your thigh up. So you got to think about things like that. Yoga asks us to be cautious and not to hurt ourselves. It's called ahimsa. It's one of our yamas. No harm to our bodies. So feel where you feel it. Notice what you're feeling. This muscle we're stretching on the right hip, the front of the hip, gets super tight from sitting too much. Or some of us, when we stand, instead of being in that neutral pelvis position that we were practicing today, we're in where the pelvis tips forward and we create a big arch in the back. And when we're in that anterior pelvic tilt, your psoas, the front of the hip, gets very short and tight. So we're giving it a chance to balance out right now. And one more breath. Keep the core engaged as you drop this right heel back. And then you slide the left heel back and then slide this up. Now both knees are bent. Now we're going to do the other side. So first we're going to straighten the left, keeping core zipped up, and then drawing the right thigh in and up, holding under the thigh if that's comfortable for you. Take an inhale. As you exhale, drawing the right thigh towards your torso, navel's in and up. You're on the center of the left heel, not toes are turning out. That's a big one here. We're trying to re-educate our body. This is working with our brain and our muscles and the fascia. We're telling our body, no, this turning out of the foot is not beneficial to us. It causes back pain. So we're going to realign our body. And once we do it enough, it's going to become second nature to you. You're going to bring your body back to where it should be. So a couple more breaths. And now let's bring this foot to the floor and slide this heel up. Let's lift our hips up and then slowly bring your pelvis down. So we don't have time for too much more. I would like you to get your strap though. We're going to stretch the outer hip. We stretch the front of the hip. Now I want to stretch your glutes and the outer hip. So let's take our strap and let's start by putting it, we're going to start with the left leg. You're going to put it on the arch of the left leg. You're going to straighten the right leg. Now once again, the right leg, you don't want the foot turning out. You're on the center of the heel, you're flexing the foot. Now the right foot, press in the big toe mound and draw the ankle in and keep that. The left leg, we've stretched our hamstring quite a bit today, so if you can straighten your knee and then bend it a few times. Inhale and exhale. Keep neutral pelvis, I forgot that. Neutral pelvis, so your back shouldn't be flat nor it should be arched, right in the middle. So bending and straightening the knee a few times, and then holding it up straight, taking the strap in the right hand, bringing the left hand to T. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, bring this left leg across the midline, and inhale it back up. So exhale it over, and inhale it up. Keep the left hip down pretty much. Don't let it rise too much. So we're not going into a twist, we're just stretching the outer hip. We used it a lot in that warrior and Parsvakonasana when we did our shoulder work. Now we need to stretch it out. So now we've gone in and out of it a few times. Now we're going to hold it. So as you exhale, bring the foot across the midline. Keep the left hip down. Keep the right leg active. And breathe, 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 breathe. Straighten the knee. Draw your kneecap, feel like it's lifting up to contract the quad, so it's pulling up a little bit. Now start to circle a little bit, just a little movement. Wherever you feel tight and sticky in this left hip, just do a few circles, do a little up and down, do a figure 8, whatever feels good to you. We're working into the fascial system, and that requires a little bit of undulation, a little bit of movement. And we'll stay here about 3 more breaths. Long, slow breathing. Neutral pelvis, so your core is engaged. And then let's inhale, bring this leg up. Bring your other leg up, and we'll switch. So now bring your left leg down, straighten the leg. Center of the heel of the left leg. Now to keep that, you're going to press your big toe forward and draw the outer ankle in on that left leg and hold that. Now we've got this right leg up. As you exhale, bend the knee. And as you inhale, straighten. How's your neutral pelvis? Exhale, bend. And inhale, straighten. So my core is on right now to hold that neutral pelvis. If I lose my core, my back will flatten. So we're trying to recreate that neutral pelvis in our life. And now holding the leg up. Transfer the strap to your left hand. Bring your right hand to a T, palm up, palm down, whatever feels comfortable for you. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, draw this leg across the body, keeping the right hip down, and then inhale it back up. Exhale it over. Feel where you feel it. Notice where you're feeling it. And exhale it over. I'm feeling it down into the pinky side of my right foot. I'm very tight on my lateral line on my right foot. I had hip replacement a year ago, a little over a year ago, and boy, that takes a while to get over. So we're just dynamically moving. When you have a tight spot, you get better results if you dynamically move it rather than hold it statically. So now we've moved it. I invite you to do those little undulating circles or figure 8s. Wherever you feel a tightness, stay in that spot and do a little movement. The fascial system is like a web, a biological web that covers every cell of our body, and it holds us like a wetsuit. And sometimes places get really tight, and we need to give it a little care. So that's what I'm having you do. Now, hold the leg going over, keeping the right hip down, and just get a good stretch. Wherever you're tight, you're going to feel this the most. Anywhere from the right pinky toe edge of the foot all the way up to the glute. This is your lateral line. It's a lateral fascial line. One more breath, and then inhale, bring it up. We're going to do one more for this area of our body. I'm going to flip it so you can see my angles of my feet. Okie dokie. So we know this one, the figure 4. We're going to do that, but we're going to do it different. So I want you to bring your right thigh in, rotate at the hip, and bring your ankle just above the left knee. Now, think about the right big toe down, the outer ankle drawing in. So your left leg is supporting you right now. I want you to find neutral pelvis, zip it up with your core. Take your left hand to the right knee. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, let's bring this right knee towards your left shoulder. And inhale, let it go. The exhale, draw it in. And the inhale, let it go. These are good for sciatic pain. And a few more. Notice where you feel it. This is stretching out the hip muscles that we were working in Warrior 2, Warrior 1, and Parsvakonasana. All of those that we were working with the outer hip muscles, this is stretching them. Now hold it in just a little bit and see how that feels. And then let it go. Now take your left foot, just place it to the left, and we'll do the same movement. Inhale, the exhale, draw it in. The inhale, let it go. The exhale, draw it in. And the inhale, let it go. Do you have your neutral pelvis? If not, find it and do this with a neutral pelvis. And now you can start to circle this right hip, whatever feels appropriate to your body. You're going to feel a tight spot, then just kind of like ladies, like you have a hangnail or a little chip on your nail. You're using an emery board or a nail file to soften that. Think about that in your hip. As you circle, you're trying to smooth out that tight spot. And now scoot this left foot back. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, now draw into your figure 4. And now you can do the same thing. Do some movement, circle your hips, rock side to side, feel where you feel tight or restricted, and then kind of stay in that area a little bit and do some movement. All right, good job. And then let's bring your left foot down and unwind. Now before we go to the other side, I want you to bring you can either straighten your legs, or you can keep your knees bent. And notice if you feel a little bit different now on this right side. What I feel is like a little bit of a slope, like my right hip is closer to the ground, which means I loosened it up quite a bit. It's like if I had a marble here, it'd be rolling downhill. Let's go to the other side now. So we bring our left thigh in, we rotate at the hip and bring your ankle just below your right knee. Right hand to the left knee. Inhale, exhale, drawing the left knee towards the right shoulder, and inhale, letting it go. Find neutral pelvis, and exhale, drawing it in, and inhale, letting it go, and just do that a few times. Listening to your body, not pushing into pain, feeling a good stretch. And then you can circle a little bit in that area if it feels appropriate to you. You can go in and out, whatever feels good. And now take your right foot, just place it to the right, and we'll do the same movement. Inhale, exhale, draw it in. How did that change of that right foot change the stretch for you? For me, it brings it more under my glute rather than on the side. But you're all different, so just notice what you're feeling. And then once again, you can start making those little undulating movements with that left hip. Couple more. And maybe holding it if that feels okay. If not, just keep moving it. And then putting this right foot back into alignment. And now we're going to bring our right thigh in and up and holding under and rocking. Now if you can't reach it, you're going to put your strap and thread it through and use that. You don't want your head up, you want your back on the mat. So circle, whoop, circle, undulate, figure eight it, whatever feels appropriate to you to loosen up these stiff hips of ours. Good job, guys. And then let's come out of it. Let's rotate back.
And I think that's it for today. So for resting pose, I'd like something under your knees. So you're just going to put a block or something under your knees, a pillow. You're going to lay back. Your arms are going to be palms face up to open your shoulders. And you're just going to relax. So as we're lying here, I want you to close your eyes. And just take an inventory from the bottom of your feet. What do you feel? I feel energy in the bottom of my feet, like a pulse. There's no right or wrong answer. This is an awareness. This is called swadhyaya in yoga, in Sanskrit. Self-awareness, self-discovery. So what I want you to do is feel your feet. Bring your awareness up into your lower legs, maybe the calves and the shins. What do you feel? See if you feel sensation. Bring it up to the knees. Sensation. Bring it up to the front of the thighs, noticing sensation or a flow. Bring it into the backs of the thighs, the hamstrings. What do you feel? Now bring awareness into your navel center. And just notice your belly as you inhale, breathe into the navel. And as you exhale, can you let your lower back soften? And stay there a couple breaths. Inhaling and exhaling. One more, inhaling and exhaling. Now bring awareness to your lower back. Go inside, what do you feel? Bring awareness now to your abdomen. Notice sensations. Bring awareness to your mid-chest. Noticing sensations in your mid-back. Up to your upper back and your upper chest. Now bring sensations into your right shoulder. Sensations into your left shoulder. And then sensation in both shoulders at the same time. Bring awareness to your jaw. Sensations in your jaw. Sensations in the roof of your mouth. In the floor of the mouth. In the side walls of your mouth. Bring sensations in your nose and in the right eye and then the left eye, and then sensations in both eyes at once. Bring sensation into the right ear, into the left ear, and then exhaling sensations into both ears at the same time. Bring awareness into your right eye and the left eye and both eyes at once. And then bring awareness to the crown of your head. Let the scalp soften and just stay here and breathe. So we're going to stay here and breathe about 3 or 4 more breaths. Just noticing what you feel without judgment. If you don't feel anything, that's okay. But noticing sensation. And one more. And then I want you to deepen your breath. And start to bring a little movement into your wrists maybe, or your toes, or your fingers, your ankles, whatever feels appropriate to you. Maybe turning the head from side to side. Maybe bringing your chin up and your chin down a few times. Maybe circling your nose right and then left. And then removing whatever's under your knees and pushing it aside. Rolling onto one side. So a nice way to get up is being on your side, taking the top hand in front of your chest, and you're inhaling, and then the exhaling, you're pressing yourself up. So come to seated for me. So remember, it's nice to sit up on something to elevate your pelvis. And bring your hands to your heart. And close your eyes. Bow to yourself. And I'm going to say something, and then I want you to mentally repeat it to yourself. I am well. I am happy. I am peaceful and at ease. I am well, and I am happy, and I am peaceful and at ease. And I wish you all wellness, and I wish you all happiness, and I wish you all peace and ease. And thank you for joining me. Have a wonderful day, and namaste. See you next time. Bye-bye.